One of the most obvious and easiest ways to make a program appear polished and complete is to add titles. As you know, you can import graphics you made in other programs, but you can also generate titles from within Premiere Pro. Using full-fledged title creation tools, you can make a static title, a title roll, like end credits, or a title crawl, like a news ticker. This project contains interviews, so I'd like to identify the speakers with an on-screen title. Later, I'll add an opening title to identify the setting and a credit roll for the end. But before I start making titles, I'm going to create a bin for them. This way I'll keep the project neat and organized. So I'll click the New Bin button, and I'll name this bin Titles. If I keep a bin selected or open, any items I import or create will go into that bin. So I'll Command double-click the bin to open it in place. If you're on a Windows computer, you can Control double-click. Now I can be sure that any new titles will be added to my Titles bin. To create the title, I can go to the menu bar and choose Title, New Title, and then choose the type of title I want. Or I can use a button in the project panel. I can click the New Item button and choose Title. It's the same as choosing Create Default Still from the menu bar. In the New Title dialog box, I can specify the characteristics of the title. Its dimensions, its width and height, its time base, its pixel aspect ratio. But even though you specify these things, you should know that titles are synthetic media. In other words, they're saved as part of the project file. They don't actually create media on the hard drive, but they do emulate the same characteristics of other media. So that's why you set things like width, height, time base, and pixel aspect ratio. These settings already match my sequence settings, so I won't change them. But I will enter a name for the title. This title will identify Matt, one of the speakers, so I'll name the title Matt. Premiere Pro's titling tools consist of a collection of related panels that open together in a floating window. This panel is the Title Tools panel. It includes tools for creating text and graphical objects. Below it is the Title Actions panel. It includes commands for aligning, positioning, and distributing objects you create in a title. This is the Title Styles panel. It lets you apply preset style to text or other objects by just clicking its thumbnail here. And you can even save your own style swatch. Over here is the Title Properties panel. It lets you see and modify selected objects' attributes. For example, a text object's font, its fill color, its drop shadow, and so on. And then there's the Title Designer panel here. It has a large area for creating titles and a handful of other controls for formatting and other functions. The background image you see here is the current frame of the sequence. Because most titles are designed to be superimposed over video, the Title Designer's background frame lets you see whether the placement and colors and so on will work with a particular shot. If you don't want to see the background video, you can toggle it on and off using this button. You should know that the background video isn't saved with the title, it's just there for your reference. The frame you see here matches the current time in the timeline in Program Monitor, so you could change it in those panels, but you can also change the frame using the time display right here. As always, you can drag it to change the frame. I want to create a title to identify one of the people who is interviewed for this piece, so I'll cue to his shot, and I can do that by clicking the time display. I know his shot is at around 14 seconds. Identifying titles are often called lower third IDs because they usually appear in the lower third of the screen. Usually they're aligned right along the bottom edge of the title safe zone. The title safe zone is represented by this inner guide. It marks the area of the screen where titles are in no danger of being cropped off by the edges of the screen. Some TVs, particularly standard definition analog TVs, crop off the outer edges of the image, and that can mean cropping off parts of the title. So titles for TV are still designed with the safe zones in mind. Don't worry, the safe zones don't appear in the final output. They're just there for your reference. So with the Title Designer open and the video frame queued, I'm ready to create a new title. Or I could create a title from a template.